So, this is a good time to remind everyone that we do these. Right, we basically have two formats by now. One is on YouTube, highly produced with just a with where we know the agenda in advance, and only people on stage are allowed to speak. And this is the exact opposite. This should be creative chaos. So I want everyone to turn on your camera, to just unmute your microphone and contribute to the conversation. Hey Eric, great to see you again. And the more the merrier. Hi Kamlesh. So and we intentionally kept this very open agenda-wise, right? This is going to be an Ask Me Anything, and we managed to bring a couple of star guests here with Amol. I think Markus is going to join us later, and I think that Chris is also going to be here, so we can then start in a couple of minutes. As always, 5 minutes after the time. That's how the Discord clock works. Yeah. So while we're waiting, this gives me the opportunity to ask the first question. How do you like the how do you like the YouTube StreamYard format that we've introduced this year? You can give a if you want to, you can just use the soundboard and send out a sound like.
I like it.
Like this one.
I like this current format because it just feels like you're closer to the community, like everybody can speak up. But I can also see value, like the YouTube format is good too for more like formal presentations.
Yeah.
So a mix of both, I think, is there's places for both scenarios.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to keep a good balance. And
I like the Adobe intro on the StreamYard one. Just makes it more official.
Yeah, Ron has done great work on that. It's
it really hypes the whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone who really practice.
Hey Simon.
Hello.
Okay, why don't we kick it off? So, welcome everyone. This is our last time that it is our last time this year that we're going to see each other, right?
Yes.
Dominic?
Yep.
You're the master of the agenda and I'm the apprentice of disaster. So
the master of disaster, maybe.
still training. This is an Ask Me Anything session. So if you have questions about AEM, about edge delivery, about operational telemetry, about you name it, we will do our best to answer them. Obviously, there are areas where we are more competent and areas where our opinions are less founded, like best Christmas decorations. But as we said, it's an Ask Me Anything, and we stand by this. With me on the call, we have our host Dominic. We have Amol, Anand, and Amol has been a regular here as well. And I think we're going to have a couple more people join us later. We managed to schedule this over a couple of internal meetings, and just by attendance you can see how serious people take internal meetings. Thanks for being here, Amol.
It always pick you, Lars.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, and if you don't start asking questions to me and to us, then I will start asking questions to you. So be prepared either way.
Question on operational telemetry.
Yep.
So when it comes to logging, let's say a customer wants to be able to track any like JavaScript errors that their site
Yes.
visitors are encountering. A lot of times folks might integrate some third-party library or some sort of log forwarding on the client side to forward browser logs to a Splunk or Datadog or some other log aggregator. Is that still a common pattern for edge delivery, or is edge delivery's operational telemetry meant to replace that and be sufficient enough?
Operational, so operational telemetry is meant to be able to solve the 80% use cases, right? And which means if you do a head-on-head comparison between our operational telemetry and Sentry is going to win. It's better, right? If you do a comparison between us and let's say New Relic for RUM, New Relic is going to win. However, if you do the comparison between the tool that you already have and the tool that you don't have, just use the tool that is already there for you, right? And that's where we find a lot of value, right? And one of the limitations here is obviously with our sampling, we are by design, we don't see everything, right? Which has a couple of advantages. Like, we don't need to ask for consent because there's no chance that we actually track anyone. It also has a disadvantage, right? Because this Heisenberg that only affects 1% of your visitors, we're unlikely to see it, right? But at the same time, you should work off the things that are affecting many visitors, and these are going to be very, very loud and clear within operational telemetry, so you can see that, and that's why I think it's a great starting point.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just had a call with the customer who told us that they identified, right? They didn't have Sentry anything in place yet, and they said, "Oh yeah, we discovered a JavaScript error that was thrown 300,000 times a day, and we could fix it, right? Because obviously this kind of stuff doesn't come up in static testing when everything is going right, but on some cases in some browsers, it absolutely happens. Yeah, and Amol, thanks for sharing the link. Maybe you want to talk about this as well.
Yeah, we have. I think Sean built this. If I remember, let me see if I can share my screen quickly. But it's the error analyzer. Hold on. See my whole screen. So give me a second. I'm gonna mute all my notifications.
If
you share the first time, I think. Oh, now it's coming. Super.
All right, do you guys see this?
Yeah, at the moment, it's a black screen on my side.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I can see it.
Okay, good. Yeah, so you just basically come here. It kind of tells you, which errors do you want to look at, what's happening, when was it last seen, how often it's occurring, etc. So I think that's pretty useful when you're trying to just go in and just see the health of the site and see where issues are happening, which URLs are happening, and how often they're happening. It kind of gives you a nice view into that as well. So I just thought I would share that.
Yeah, this looks really helpful. So if I remember correctly, like the original RUM dashboard had some sort of view like that, but this looks like a much more improved, more
Yeah.
detailed
It's using
view.
the same data from
Okay.
from
Yep.
Optel.
Nice. That's super helpful. Thank you.
It's just a specific kind of view into just that, into just the errors that you're seeing on your site.
Yeah, we should actually build a deep dive link from Optal to Sean's tool.
Yep.
Saves you a bit of copy and pasting of the domain key.
Already added to my bookmarks.
Yeah, and
Okay.
one thing I guess to mention here is we're also consolidating everything. We used to have tools .aem.live and labs.aem.live, and we're trying to consolidate in one place. So just tools.aem-live should now, I think, maybe within the next month, should have everything. It does have everything now, but just to be safe, I would say next month. But it's a one-stop shop for all things EDS, essentially, is what I would say. So.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, so a lot of softwares. We are working with EDS. We are implementing our EDS store. For the product pages like live search, product detail, product listing page, we are able to get it. But certain landing pages we have created for category or maybe certain CNS pages we are not able to get the recommendations from the SEO directly to those pages. Yes, because in English we don't have any product the page type CNS over there. That's information we are facing right now.
but I'm not sure
Once
I'll
we
buy
have
a new
certain
one.
landing page, we have to showcase recommendation on those page. We are not able to.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
your audio didn't come through quite well. Could you put the question on the
Yeah,
chat?
let me explain it again. I just close my phone. So is it okay now? Am I audible?
It's better now.
It's better now. So yeah, we are working with the EDS storefront and using SEO product recommendations from that Adobe Commerce Optimizer tool. For product pages, we are getting the recommendation. It's showcasing properly. But for CMS pages, which we have, like we are getting some new pages on the category or home page. We wanted some hot deals or some solutions should be there on our home page and other CMS pages, the recommended products. So for now, we are not getting it, and we discuss with the team. They give some alternate solution, but not directly. We can get the data from the recommendations that AI tools. So, is there any ways to do that, or it's in a plan where we can put a recommendation of the SEO that dynamic data to CMS pages on the storefronts EDS.
Yeah, I'm no commerce expert here, but I would think what you're asking for should be doable, especially if it's just a block. It's like I think in the commerce world they call it drop-ins, right? So you should be able to drop in the content. Where in the thing, maybe we have other commerce folks on the call that can chime in as well, if anyone's done this.
I haven't.
So we check the drop-ins, but CMS page drop-in, the GraphQL not working for that. For product page is working, but for CMS page is not working. We already.
Is it because it doesn't know is it not getting enough information about the user or what they've looked at for you to recommend? Maybe that's the issue.
No, after customer login as well, it's not working. So
Okay.
not sure what
That
the issue
sounds
there.
like something that we should resolve. Like, do you have a Slack channel with us?
I have put up that message to. I already updated the message on Discord channel as well.
On the Discord, okay. Do you also have a Slack or Teams channel with us as part of your project?
Slack channel I have. Yes, I have Slack channel as well.
Okay, can you just put that in the chat and then we can take this conversation? I can tag some people from the commerce side there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
That's probably the easiest way to help you.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that commerce people can get that solution very quickly, because it's basically backend stuff. So I like that.
Yeah, I mean, conceptually, what you're asking for seems pretty standard. I think that's what the tokens are meant for also. So the fact that it's not working might be something else in the back end or whatever. Like, I'm not sure. I'm not the commerce expert, but we can pull in the right people to help you. If you just tag us in the Slack channel.
Yeah. So another thing, Lars, that I'm trying to use this skill.md, that skills.md, yes, LLM tool. So I have already posted, you're maybe answering on that. That how I can utilize this in my cursor AI. So is any there steps how we can put these things on cursor with real example in documentations over there?
So
skills.
Yeah, so I haven't tried Cursor in particular, but I've been using the Cursor CLI and the upskill tool that I wrote for this is working. And the way it works basically is it's adding something to agents.md, which Cursor does respect, and it's telling it use this tool to get the list of your skills, and then it's basically telling Cursor and everyone else, hey, just behave like Claude Code is doing, and I found this to work. I think if this is not the case, I can look into the particular agent I have. Well, you know for what reason I still have about a dozen of them installed. So I'm happy to play and dig into this. But I think this skills feature is really one of the most interesting innovations in coding agents this year. And when you look and at the same time when you look at it, how simple it is, it's incredible. So I was happy to see this work, and I was even happier to be able to trick some of the other agents into following it.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to add, Kamlesh, I use Cursor as well, and just having those files in the repo is the main thing. But the model that you pick, sometimes Cursor will default to auto, and you can just remove auto and pick one of the thinking models. The thinking models are the one that do best with these type of things. So if you're just using any generic model, the impact might not be as good as if you were using one of the Sonnet or Opus.
Yeah, Sonnet I'm using. Yeah. Sonnet is doing good results in the code part.
Yeah, so just
basically with their builders thing.
Yeah.
So I have installed that repo as well in my project as well. So
okay.
Just,
the
so
upskill.
we'll try it again and we'll see the upskill one.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, those are the two main questions that I have. So over to you, Lars.
Yeah. So I have to admit that most of the skills that we have on Edge Delivery, I didn't touch. I only reviewed them, but I used the inspiration to create a Claude skill for myself, which is used to create mixtapes and music playlists. Basically told it to, hey, on every track that you suggest, do a really deep research, try to find weird cover versions, foreign language interpretations, and it's working beautifully. So no bland predictable playlists. It's all flavor now, thanks to Claude. So and the the other thing that is nice is that that this also works in the Claude, right? So if you have a Claude Code subscription, you can also use the Claude web application, which I would say in almost in most of the user experience, it's actually worse than ChatGPT. But the fact that you can upload custom skills to it, that's quite neat. So I'm having a bit of fun with that as well.
You should push that skill to Adobe's GitHub. I'd love to get my hands on that.
I think I can put it on my own. I can put it on my own GitHub. I think that would be a safe place. Okay. Well, then, are there more questions? And as I said, I have questions actually. One question would be, have you written any good blog posts recently? And that question is going not exclusively to Tom, but in particular to Tom.
I was just reading one of Tom's blog posts yesterday.
I just posted it on
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Yeah. Hi guys. Sorry, I'm traveling in a car. I can't really join in. But my recent blog post was about Cloudflare
So yeah, and
workers that you could test for Cloudflare. It's been great fun. I've moved from. Sorry, Lars.
I'm as you're on the car and you gave me a pre-read of the blog post. It's basically best patterns for testing Cloudflare workers. Right, and one of the challenges that we have with Cloudflare workers is they're very, very easy to write, but that often leads you to conflating business logic with worker logic. And if you properly separate this into modules, then you can write good unit tests for the business logic, and then you can isolate. Right, you can have a layered testing strategy, which is essentially how we are writing all of the services for edge delivery. Right, we try to have 100% unit test coverage, and then on top of that, layer integration tests. And for one project that I'm working on right now, I'm actually doing another layer where I'm simulating Cloudflare locally. I'm simulating Cloudflare and Fastly locally, and the main reason for this is that my code is still buggy and I'm impatient, and waiting 3 minutes for Fastly to deploy is eating up my patience. So I said, okay, let's deploy it locally to Fastly's version of Wrangler is called Viceroy. So that's what I'm using, and it's helping with development. Let's say that. Yeah. Well, and on top of that, I would say we are generally big fans of Cloudflare. And we miss them very dearly when they decide to take a couple of hours of downtime last month. So yeah.
I do have a question related to CDN workers.
Yep.
I know Adobe's working on potentially exposing edge compute functions within the Adobe managed Fastly. Yes. Do we see a future where that would become the preference over Cloudflare workers? There's probably a lot of pros and cons to each, but just curious if that might be something that's coming up next year.
So I hope I'm not going to get into too deep trouble with this. So first of all, generally, in most cases, the best option for you is the one that you already have, right? So for a lot of customers, if I would Well, the interesting thing is, if I would advise a customer on picking a CDN, I would tell them the best CDN that you can buy is Fastly, right? And fortunately, Fastly is also the managed CDN that you can already get from Adobe as part of your AEM license. Right? For edge compute, I would say the best thing that you can buy for actually not a lot of money is Cloudflare, right? And Fastly also has an offering there, and I found it in practice more limited and more difficult to work with than Cloudflare. However, if the things that you are trying to do fall into this 80% use case, right, where you just want to add a couple of headers, where you just want to stitch two requests together, where you just want to do relatively easy things, then Fastly is an absolutely viable option, and the fact that you can get it straight as part of your AEM license is going to make it a very convenient option for a lot of our customers, right? So, and then I think that's a good way to get started. And depending on how deep you want to go, you can do more, right? And I'm personally obviously obsessed with doing everything multi CDN. So so one of the things that we've built for edge delivery services, but that is also being used by a couple of other people, is Helix Deploy, which is essentially enabling a multi-cloud deployment. And there's a plugin for Cloudflare and for Fastly. And for instance, our operational telemetry collector is using that to be deployed multi-cloud. A project that doesn't have an official name yet is called Helix Mixer, is using it, and I'm hoping to work on it a bit more to reflect some of the new APIs that Fastly has gotten, because Fastly still hasn't closed the gap to Cloudflare, and there's a good chance that they never will. But they've made good strides in the API coverage, and I want to reflect this in the universal API. So, yeah.
Nice.
And
It's exciting.
yeah. Yeah, and when so speaking of the best tool is the one that you already have. This is obviously one of the reasons why we are supporting CloudFront as a CDN, right? It's the one CDN that almost everyone has. Let me put CDN in air quotes. It's the one CDN that everyone somehow has lying around, and across all of AEM, it's handling a good chunk of traffic, right? I'm surprised, given how limited it is in most regards. So, okay.
I think you mentioned, did I hear you correctly when you said Helix Deploy is like a dual stack CDN? Is that something that customers can opt into, or is that more of like an abstraction?
So the Helix Deploy tool is used actively by Adobe teams. It's open source, like most of the stuff that we do in Helix. So you can just play with it and file issues if you run into trouble, and we basically support it like any other open source tool, right? With yeah,
cool.
And yeah, and I'm on the edge part in particular, I'm working actively on to squeeze in a breaking change while it's still relatively cheap. But if it looks interesting, might be something for you, right? And I would add on top of that this multi CDN use case is still something that we don't see a lot of customers actually do, right? Most customers stick with one CDN and in general, and then eat the downtime that comes with it. For running edge delivery services itself, we obviously want to do this multi-CDN, but even there you have to make trade-offs, right? You have to make trade-offs. Where does this additional 9 in availability for authoring, does that really make a difference? Yeah, it's easy to get into the over-engineering trap, especially when you're an engineer.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, me too.
I do have another question. So, like Helix architecture, there's been several iterations, several versions of the architecture. I believe it's on version 5 now.
Yeah.
Will there ever be a version 6? And if so, what might that entail?
Okay. Yes, there's going to be a version 6. We're discussing it. We're discussing it right now, and you will see it take shape over the course of the next year, right? And the biggest part of this is that we are going to rework the admin service, and right, which is a so the thing that I want to point out is that we use semantic versioning, right? So every major version number is a breaking change, and we want to do these breaking changes very carefully and very deliberately, because we know that they cause work and pain for our customers and our users, and we experience that pain as well, right? So we've been every single team call that we have, there's one agenda point, which is how many percentage points of traffic are still going to the Helix 4 origins compared to the Helix 5 origins, right? Because we want to turn off helix.page and helix.live. So if you haven't done that, and I know I've worked with a couple of you here in the call to do that, let's make sure that we can switch this off. So for Helix 6, we are looking in particular at the admin API. And this is a bit more convenient because we are, especially with Sidekick, the primary users there, but we are not the only users, right? So, and every API is growing over time and is developing inconsistencies, and that's one of the things that we want to clear up. We're going to drop a couple of features that the very vast majority have never heard of, but where we already know this is going to be a painful transition for a couple of you, and I think most exciting feature-wise, because you always need to throw in a cool feature whenever you're removing technical debt, is that we are going to integrate the document authoring API. So DA is going to be integrated into the admin API, and that's going to be a big chunk of whatever is going to be written in the press release when this goes out, or the blog post for that matter. So, yeah.
So I have a question. Sorry.
Okay, and I see
it's
that
loud
we
because
have Markus joining us. Hey,
Hey.
Markus.
Yeah, it was a question.
Yeah, sorry, thank you. Maybe it's loud because I'm walking on the street. So, what do you intend to develop the most? What kind of document? Or maybe not document, but like a CMS.
Okay, well,
Is it
I have a
Universal
question,
Editor or
which is,
Dactyli?
what was the most exciting go live you had this
Lars,
year? Yes. Oh,
you don't hear synonymous,
Oh.
Simon?
Yep.
oh yeah. Simon, sorry for that. You had a bit of background noise earlier, so I muted you.
Yeah, hold on a second. Give me 2 minutes, and I'm gonna park somewhere, and I will
Yes.
ask again. Okay?
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Good. Yeah, I'm a bit sensitive to crosstalk, so I tend to mute people, which is mostly working great, except when they then actually have
Exactly.
to ask a question. So
Maybe you can ask your question, Lars, until he is back in.
yeah, so my question would be, what was the most exciting go live that you can share from this year? And if you're under NDA, you don't have to mention the customer by name. But if you want to brag, of course, please do.
And tell you the most exciting non-go live we had with the Mallorca Film Festival. Technically, everything was ready, but so it's sort of the management side, content migration, everything. It just didn't work out in time. So
Okay.
we are not live yet, unfortunately.
Well, but there's going to be another festival next year.
Yeah, yes, and we plan to do it once I'm back from my sabbatical.
Yeah. Okay, so I see that we're getting a question in chat, and I'm going to read it out, and Amol can start thinking about the answer. Our team reviews the AEM maintenance release notes every week, which are on Experience League. However, some features are difficult to understand from the text alone. I think there are some parts that I don't know because I'm not using all of AEM's features. So for an example, when checking the improvements made this week, is there a place where I can see more detailed information about the changes beyond just the assets and then the issue number listed in the link above? Or do you have any tips on how to better understand the release notes when reviewing them? You're asking a good question, because a good chunk of this, right? And we have a similar feed of release notes for edge delivery services, which are in our case mostly driven by the commits that we are writing. Amol, I don't know if you have a recommendation how to deal with it, how to get more information.
I don't. That link is specifically for AMCS, and I think if you wanted more information, you would have to reach out to, open a ticket or something like that to really get more information. But that's not sustainable every week, and it makes no sense. What we can do is take it back to our internal PMs and teams to maybe add more description, or maybe just like a one-liner of what this relates to, what are we talking about for each of those notes that they are releasing. I think that's probably a better way to deal with this.
And I would say, so I've been reviewing this support request volume that we've been getting on edge delivery services, and actually, the number two only a minority of issues opened are actually about bugs, and a lot of these are just requests for information. So please open an issue if it sounds interesting, right? And say, hey, I would like to have more information. And thing is, the teams who are building on this, are excited to hear that people are interested in trying out the new stuff. So if it leads to us improving our release notes, that would be an additional benefit, right? So thanks for asking that, and thanks for pointing it out.
Okay, I think Simon is back on live. You can ask a question. Hmm? Nope. Any question?
Oliver here, maybe a quick one.
Yes.
Any progress regarding, how would I call that, right? A license option that allows small sites to not have to get the full-blown Adobe license. Right? How would you call that? Not a free trial, but
Yeah.
like a developer trial or something like that.
Yes. So there's on the one hand this new sandbox program, which gives you a 30-day sandbox, which is great for trying things out. I think, Dominic, we actually have a YouTube video where we introduce this. And this is giving you a full-blown AEM author instance with Universal Editor, so you can try the full breadth. For Edge Delivery, we still have the Friends and Family program, right, which is if you're a friend and being here in the Discord with us means you're a friend, then and you have a small site, please just go ahead. I have a to do in my backlog to work with legal to actually formalize this. This fell a bit on the wayside this year, I have to admit, because we had to. I spent a lot of time with legal on operational telemetry, and I think that was enough for this year. But I'm going to bring it back up for next year. The thing is, we actually had a draft of terms, and I didn't like them very much. So that was my pushing back on the proposed terms to make it easier and more practical to launch a small site on Edge Delivery. So yes,
Thanks for fighting the fight. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I just posted a link in the chat. This session, it was with Martin and Jill.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also just realized if you want to see all those sessions from the Developers Live, they are also on aem-live on the community.
Yep.
It's perfect.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm back and quiet. I have a question here regarding the what. Let me rephrase this. What do you intend to invest money and time to? What authoring, document authoring, not document authoring, like Universal Editor or document authoring or Dakhali or anything else that you have in mind to bring to the future in future?
So the way we look at this is that we see that there are two authoring paradigms that are both valid. Right? One is the what you see is what you get based approach, and the other one is the document based authoring. And I have to pick my words carefully here. And for document based authoring, for a lot of customers using what they already have, Microsoft Word, Google Docs, SharePoint, Google Drive, is a good choice. But we've identified a good chunk of customers that want more and that don't necessarily want the Microsoft offering and that are not able to buy the Google offering, right? And this is why we started to develop Dark Alley, which became DA, which became document authoring, and this is an area of, let's call it, intensified investment going forward. But we see this as something that is going to sit right next to Universal Editor to support the what you see is what you get approach. Right? So I think both choices are valid. It depends to a large degree on your use case. It depends on what kind of content velocity you want to achieve, how important it is for you to have very, very close loop control over what the page looks like versus dealing with the reality of a content first world, right, where you have responsive design and multiple ways to consume your content. So I see universal editor and document authoring live side by side and maybe even closer together going forward.
Okay. Can I add on this last a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm working on something actually this week, so fresh from the press. So the way how I see this is really that we want to come to a place that you don't need to choose upfront. You basically go with the A, and you let your authors choose. They can technically, theoretically, on daily basis, on hourly basis, they can switch. And if they figure out, hey, I want to edit my homepage and I need more guidance, and it's because it's more structured, and I want to really see how it looks like. I maybe prefer with UX, so I go with UE. And on your same side, you have press releases or you have blogs or text-heavy stuff, which maybe is text only, and maybe here and there an image, which you are definitely faster editing these kind of pages with document-based than you go with the document-based editor. And if we want to go to that, you don't need to cite anymore. Your authors can choose, and if whatever they are on mute, they can go for. And actually, something which is pretty cool, which I worked on just this week, because we have some sort of demo hacking garage week project going on, which I can quickly show you. This is even another.
Ich mache das jetzt mal mit den anderen Kursen. Ich mache nur die Aufgaben.
Sorry.
Okay, I think it's gone now. Okay. Yeah. So can you see my browser?
I think it's coming. Not yet.
Okay. Do I need to approve something or something?
No, I don't know. Last when Amol shared, I also had an issue. It was just black.
Should I share the entire screen then? Should I better the entire screen?
I don't know.
Maybe.
It says you've
Yeah,
been
let's try that.
disconnected.
Yeah, but I'm still here. Okay, let me stop sharing and share the entire screen then. Maybe that works better.
There's a screen share problem with Discord at the moment. Maybe not.
Just hold your laptop in front of the camera.
Okay, I think it's then. That's sad. So
Yeah,
I can maybe explain. So what I actually worked on this week with a team is sort of, we have an idea of building something which is, I wouldn't call it in between, but sort of more closer together, like a quick edit. So envision you have the sidekick. On the sidekick, you just click edit, and the sidekick goes away, and you can immediately edit your page on AM while you're being on AM page. And it's sort of WYSIWYG, right? Because you see what you get. You can change text, you can drag and drop image to the page, replace an image, and it's even supporting collaborative editing. So if you have other colleagues working in DA, same time on the document, they see your changes, you will see their changes. You will not see really the cursors, because getting a cursor somewhere into the WYSIWYG, but it's like basically like editing if you are on Miro board and have real collaborative editing across the different views. But maybe we do an extra session for this then next time.
Yeah, I was thinking, Dominic. I was sending mind messages to Dominic saying, let's get Markus on the agenda as soon as he figures out how to do screen sharing.
Yep, I will work on that.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, and I think one of the funny things is that the name Universal Editor is so fantastic that I think it's hard to come up with a name to surpass that. But as you know, editing and authoring is a really important part of AEM, and we continue to invest and innovate there.
Okay, we have 8 minutes to go. If there is still a question.
Oh yeah, one more question from me. That means that when you develop a block of feature on one of the Kali or Universal Editor, it's supposed to work across all the content management tools, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So today, the only thing what is needed to make it work with Universal Editor. So Universal Editor, the way how it works, basically it only sees what is rendered in the browser, and since it's only sees your HTML, it's basically sort of blind. So it doesn't know what you can edit and what you cannot edit on the Universal Editor page. So you need to give extra instructions for the Universal Editor, and that's basically 3 JSON files you have to create for your projects. That's at the moment, right now, as we speak, manual work. We're working to get this integrated as a skill as well for our AI coding tools. So that will make your life way easier. And I think that's probably early next year. I'm not sure when this will be done, but soon. And then you probably just want an agent to say, hey, this is my project, these are my blocks. Please generate me the Universal Editor instrumentation files, and then you're basically ready. So, but at the moment, you still need these 3 files extra. Of course, long run, our vision is that we don't need them anymore, or at least generate them fully automatically.
Mhm.
But the blocks, the JavaScript, the CSS, that's all the same. There's no difference.
Okay. And I'm glad I have you here, Markus, because I asked you in Slack once that what's the current status of the feature we're calling this guided content and like login based, gated content.
Gated content.
Yeah.
Yeah. So glad you asked because we had an internal discussion in team next week. So we have now a developer assigned to this, working on that. I would say starting early next year. We have a bunch of customers which we got requirements from. And for us, it's basically 3 aspects. It's on your website, on the edge, you have the authentication, authorization aspect. Because for the others, if we talk about gated content, I mean really content behind a login, not the, hey, I go to Gartner, I want to download a report, and I have to send them my email, and then I get the report. That's also gated content, business-wise, but that's not what we mean when we speak about gated content. It's really content behind a login, and that requires actually 3 items. Like you need authorization, authentication, and on the authoring side, you need to give the content creators the option actually how you tag and instrument the content, like this piece of content is now behind a login or not.
Yeah.
And that's something, so I can share, maybe we can do it on Slack. If you ping me on Slack, Simon, then we can have a follow-up. I can share you the latest and greatest, what's the idea, what's planned, and then we can see how this resonates. It would be actually great to get feedback. But something we are actively working on, I assume, starting first week next year.
Excellent. Yeah, we're looking for it because one of the clients have lots of websites on AEM, that's the cloud, and we want to next year we're going to move them to we're going to try to move them to Edge Delivery Service. So we're looking at the capabilities of both of the Edge Delivery that can do the same thing, the same like we developed certain things on AEM that the client really wants to have an Edge Delivery Services in Universal Editor in particular. Let's connect on Slack. Thank you.
And I'd point out that for this use case, you can already solve this excellently, actually, using Cloudflare right now. Cloudflare has this zero trust infrastructure for managing authentication, and you would then basically have a worker that is able to interpret some additional metadata to determine the authorization part. The authorization part, and where it basically makes sure, this is part of content that is only made available to a particular user group, or this is content that is open.
Yeah, there's one thing I've seen on the Adapt to one of the talks. Guys from I can't remember company, they did some development around dark Kali and gated content. Can that be leveraged to Universal Editor?
Yes, I think the concept of gated content is actually independent from the editing experience as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so that will work with doc-based. It will work with. I'm not sure what you're referring. Which call you're referring to at Adapt2. I remember there was 2 years ago. There was a call from actually Adobe.com team, which already have that implemented, and we're working closely with them as well. I'm not sure if that's the one you're referring to or which one.
I'm just looking at it right now on the fly, but let me ping you on Slack. Let's just don't waste time.
I'm sure there was one 2 years ago, not this year, or maybe I missed it.
Implemented adapting content 2024. Yeah, there we go. Guys from, I tell you in 1 minute. Cloudflare Worker they worked with.
Or maybe share it here in the chat, then it's for. Then it's
Yeah, I will do that. Yeah, I will do that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Do you think we have time for one more question, Dominic?
Yeah, maybe one. Yeah, we have 2 minutes. Otherwise, you're asking your last question as usual.
As usual. Well, in that case, when are we going to talk in the new year? Because I think that's what's going to happen.
Exactly. We will talk very soon. It's already on the 15th of January. We will have a live demo with Adobe LLM Optimizer. Really looking forward to it. We wanted to have it even next week, but as you can imagine, there are too many meetings going on. So yeah, we will have it in January, and I will chase Markus, of course, then for the next session, hopefully by the end of January, beginning of February.
Excellent. Well, in that case, thanks everyone for joining today. I hope you have a good break until next year. If you're on call, I hope your phone stays silent over the holidays. And if you have a site, I hope it stays up. And I will see all of you next year. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Enjoy the